All right. How about that? So Davante Adams is a Ram. Before we dive into that, just want to let you guys know that I am going to be doing plenty of coverage throughout the week. This is going to be a busy week. Not sure exactly what's going to go down. We can imagine Cooper Kupp, something to that degree is going to happen. You could definitely see something along the lines of maybe a Colby Parkinson or a Darius Williams, maybe even Darion Kendrick. And then you have Akello and Bobby and Michael Hoyt. So keep it right here on this channel for all of that news. But welcome in. This is JE Live, although it doesn't look like that because I don't have all the bells and whistles going on. No idea where it went, but there we go. So yeah, this is JE Live, and welcome in. Happy to have you guys in here. Man, I'm pretty jolted. I got really hyped. First saw this. Best friend sent it to me. I was at my folks' house just hanging out. I actually had to leave early so, I could go live. But, man, I think this is a great fit. I don't really have to tell you guys that. I know a lot of you in the comment section have watched my videos. I've been pushing for this and started to believe it was going to happen, so much so I put it in my most recent video, my mock free agency. So I think he's a great fit, Davante Adams is, for what the Rams are looking for. I think when you look at just the body of work, it kind of speaks for itself. It is bittersweet. First off, I want to highlight one thing. I want to highlight the fact that, I want to highlight two things. I want to highlight that Cooper Kupp is always going to be a legend and absolutely loved in this organization and loved by the fan base. But I think this is the right move. Kupp has had a hard time staying healthy. And you know what? It's really unfortunate because this is a guy that has elite level work ethic. So it's not to the point where you feel like, oh, okay, he's just kind of slacking off. No, this guy is not getting let go because of his work ethic. He's not being moved on from because he's not a good teammate. He's definitely not being moved on from because he's not intelligent, because he's all three of those things: very intelligent, a great teammate, and a gym rat. But at some point or another, when you're spending that money, and not even just spending the money, but you're taking up a roster spot and you can't stay healthy, it puts the Rams in kind of a tough spot. This is a guy that really hasn't played a ton. And, his production's interesting because when you look at it at first, you're like, oh, yeah, he had 710 yards last year and he had 737 the year prior. And then he had 812 in a year that, was cut off short. But think about it. He plays every single game the Super Bowl season. After that, 9, 12, and 11. That's the problem. And this is ultimately why they're moving on. It's tough. Some could say it might be a little early. And with, his work ethic, would not be surprised at all if he turned it around. But he is going to be 32 in June. And I got to say, I agree with the Rams on this. It sucks. Absolutely love Cooper Kupp and it hurts. But again, no one's immune. Jared Goff was moved on from after 4 years. Robert Woods was a heart and soul type of player for this team. Todd Gurley was probably the most important player on those teams. Those guys are gone. No issue. Brandon Cooks, no issue. The Rams move off guys. I don't exactly love it, but I do get it. And luckily, we're talking about Matthew Stafford under center yet again. We're talking about Kyren Williams at running back. We're talking about Puka Nacua, Davante Adams, bringing back Tutu Atwell, having Tyler Higbee back, having that offensive line together. And then you look at the defense, and it's like that was one of the best defenses in the league at the end of the year. So you bring back some of those guys, and you start to see, how is this not the favorite outside of the Eagles in the NFC? And honestly, in the league. You could argue the Eagles and Rams are the two best teams in football right now. I don't care how ridiculous that sounds. The Rams got to the divisional round. They easily would have gotten to the NFC title game and won the NFC title game, had they, came through on that. But look, I have no doubt. And, in a tough world right now, which the NFL is tough because you got idiots spending $40 million a year on non-quarterbacks that are just nuking the rest of the market. While this is happening, okay, while it's getting tougher, while we're in the forced parity era, I'm going to call it, it's more vital than ever to have an elite head coach. And the Rams, luckily enough, have Sean McVay. And to me, when I say, I mean this, when I say this, when I say the forced parity era, the Rams actually are in a predicament because they drafted too well. They drafted so well, they might not even be able to bring back half these guys. That's what we're talking about. And that's what I mean by the whole, parity, forced parity era, because if the NFL, put their foot down and started rewarding teams for actually building rosters and drafting well, we wouldn't have this. But alas, you only get 4 years, unless it's a first round pick. You only get 4 years for these draft picks. So having Sean McVay, well, this is probably, and I said this earlier to my father, we were talking about the Rams, shocker. And we're talking about it. I said, look, this is probably the most important era in the history of the NFL to have a coach like Sean McVay. And he agreed. And that is why right now you have the pieces. Obviously, you got to get some other guys. That's tomorrow. That's the next day. That's the next day. You got pieces. You got your elite head coach. You got your elite quarterback. You have an elite defense. You have elite weapons. Why not the Rams? For real, why not? I mean, that's the thing. That's what we're getting at. On the flip side of getting Davante Adams, and we'll get more into, why he's such a good fit and all of that. On the flip side of getting Davante Adams, at the same exact time, it seemed like, it was announced that our guy, and I say our because I know a lot of you have been pushing for him as well, Jamie and Sherwood re-signed with the Jets. So that was a bummer. I was close to him on that deal. I had Davante Adams coming to the Rams for 2 years, $27 million. Not even close. I had 2 years, but not even close. He's going to get, what was the deal again? I got to look it up. It's 2 years. Where the hell is it? Oh, yeah, Sherwood got the same exact deal as Bolton. But anyway, 2 years, and it's 56 million, 46 million? 46 million? Why can't I find it now? I just had it up. 46 million. There we go. With 26 million guaranteed is what I'm seeing. So, to be honest with you, bummer about Sherwood. Where do we go from here? What happens now? Let me just say this. I'm going to say this right now. I said it with Adams. I could absolutely be wrong, but I'm going to say it. I think Dre Greenlaw is going to be the Rams' next move. I think the Rams are going to get him at linebacker. I wouldn't be shocked with the way that they're focusing on the offense, signing only offensive players. Stafford, Alaric, Davante Adams, Tutu Atwell. Wouldn't be surprised if they went out and added Evan Ingram, which, by the way, I'm not saying that they're going to lose anybody enough to really feel bad about a compensatory pick, but God forbid if they do, I'll tell you right now, Davante Adams doesn't hurt the compensatory pick formula at all. So that's cool. That's a little bonus. So interestingly enough, I do think it is going to be Dre Greenlaw. I've had this feeling for a bit now. I'm starting to ease into it. I think he'd be a good fit. I think his ability to deconstruct blocks, that he has everything there that you want. Now, the question is, a guy coming off a torn Achilles, and he looked really good last year, I'm still concerned about that. I'm still concerned about the injury and giving him money, but it looks like it's going to be around $8 to $9 million a year because of that injury. And, you talk about a 3-year deal and, 3 years, 24, 3 years, 25, whatever that looks like. I don't think that's a terrible move for the Rams as long as that guaranteed money is down. If you give them a fully guaranteed deal, we're going to have problems. Just kidding. But still, I feel like Dre Greenlaw is next in line. I know it sounds weird. I said a lot of different things about this guy. And to be honest with you, I think I was justified. I don't like the way he really plays the game all the time. I do think he is a little dirty, but I'd welcome him to the Rams. I'd absolutely welcome him to the Rams. If he could stay healthy, he's a top 10 linebacker in football. And that's kind of where I think they go here I could see them going with Ingram. I really say keep an eye on Ingram, keep an eye on trading for Michael Mayer. I feel like those are two legitimate possibilities. Nobody else really in this free agency class at tight end intrigues me on the level of those two. And as far as like just looking from a Rams lens, like a Rams perspective, I don't see them adding another wide receiver unless it's via the draft. I don't really see them adding another running back, but maybe they do. Maybe they go after a Nick Chubb and shock everybody. I think if they did, sign anybody, it would probably be like a Ty Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, nothing to go too crazy about. Backup quarterback is still in play. Jimmy Garoppolo, he kind of got cussed out by Davante Adams, so I don't know if he comes back. I'm kind of kidding, but kind of not. I think Zach Wilson makes the most sense because you get a guy who's 25 years old, has upside, and the Rams, Jordan Rodriguez reported this. The Rams are looking at bringing in, as soon as possible, at least this is her feeling, that they're looking to bring in a young quarterback to develop and has starting potential. And Zach Wilson fits the bill. Mac Jones fits that bill. Trey Lance fits that bill. Maybe not to be the backup, but to be a third guy. And I think Daniel Jones fits that as well. I mean, there are guys that I prefer over Daniel Jones, but those are the type of quarterbacks that I'd be looking at. This is not a great quarterback draft. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Really, this is, in my opinion, you got Cam Ward, who's by far the best quarterback in this draft. Shedeur Sanders is intriguing, but I think he's getting a little overhyped. Then you have Jackson Dart, who feels like a really good third-round pick, but now he might go in the first round. Tyler Shuck. The thing about Shuck is that he's older, so I don't really want to draft like a 26-year-old quarterback. That's the problem. I mean, you got some guys, Dylan Gabriel, okay, but this draft doesn't blow me away. If the Rams, if they draft any quarterback, it's going to be on day 3. But I'm not overly impressed with the quarterbacks in this draft. It's why the Packers are considering trading away Malik Willis. It's why the Patriots are considering trading away Joe Milton. It's why I've heard rumors about the Lions potentially trading away Hendon Hooker, the Titans potentially trading away Will Levis, and the Bengals potentially trading away Jake Browning. Those are better quarterbacks than what's available in the draft, you could argue. So, we'll see there. I don't want to jump all over the place, but really the point being is that I think the next move forward is going to be Dre Greenlaw. I say keep an eye on the tight ends, and then I think we're probably going to see them re-up in some capacity Akello and likely try to bring back Bobby Brown and Michael Hoyt. I think if you run this thing back and you're able to, bring in a Dre Greenlaw, you already got, Davante Adams, you sure up this team because a lot of what they've done already is re-sign guys. This is their first big move. I really like their chances. I do. One thing I would also like to see, and you guys know, because if you watch the mock free agency video, I had Jair Alexander. But here's the thing. Alexander has not been cut yet. That's something we have to wait for. If he's cut, I think the Rams go out and get Jair Alexander. So right now, my feeling, and I actually said it in my free agency video, if Jamie Sherwood isn't a Ram, I think they're going to go after Greenlaw. I've kind of always had that vibe, but man, I just think they're in a really good position. They got cap space, and don't sleep on this team. They know what they're doing. I trust their process. I've had some issues with them in the past. Like last year, I didn't hate getting Trey White. I hated getting Trey White instead of Akello Witherspoon being brought back. I didn't hate the idea of getting Jonah Jackson. I just had some concerns about where he was going to play, and they ended up using him at center and whatever. They've had moments like that, but they've also had moments where they got Cam Curl, I think, way less than I expected him to make. And, they go out, they get Davante Adams now. I really liked when they went out and signed Bobby Wagner. If they do anything this free agency, though, aside from the guys that, re-upping, I really want them to make sure that they focus a little bit more on linebacker. Could you just take the easy way out and bring back Christian Roseboom? Absolutely. And I wouldn't hate you for it. I really don't think Christian Roseboom is a bad player. But I think it's better. It's way more beneficial for an Omar Speights to have that linebacker next to him. And I think if you get Dre Greenlaw, I think that makes a lot of sense. There are other guys as well that I think are just better athletes. A big thing, and I was talking about this with my father earlier, is that look, and I'm going to get to super chats, of course, definitely not going to miss those. So I appreciate you guys. I'm already losing my voice. What the hell, man? One sec. Don't do 10 videos in 2 days or whatever the hell I did. You'll end up with a lost voice and a mere, 30 minutes? Not even. 18 minutes. Not even. Anyway, what I'm saying, don't even remember what I was saying. Totally forgot what I was saying. But no, I think Jair, I agree. Jair would be nice. We'll see. I just think that the direction they're going in right now tells me they're willing to be a little bit more open. And so I hope they continue that being open. Linebackers, if you guys didn't see the video, just because Bolton and, of course, Sherwood are gone, that doesn't mean there aren't options here. My third option was Dre Greenlaw. I think he's the third best available. Well, he's the best available now. Cody Barton was 4. Tyrell Dodson was 5. EJ Speed, Devin Bush, Akeem Davis-Gaither, Robert Spillane, Jack Sanborn, bringing back Christian Roseboom. You also have some potential trade options, whether that's Devin Lloyd. Will the Jags finally trade him away? Quincy Williams of the Jets and Troy Anderson. With Jamie and Sherwood back, the Jets might have to trade Quincy Williams. And I know that's not something that Quinnen Williams wants because that's his brother, but it could happen. And Quincy, this guy can play all over the field. He is outstanding in coverage. He is a really good run stopper. He's athletic as all hell. I would really like Quincy Williams as a Ram. But again, I feel like if I had to stick my neck out for the next 3 and that I feel really good about, Dre Greenlaw, Akello Witherspoon, and I'll say Bobby Brown. But we'll see. We shall see. How's everyone doing? Now time to read these super chats. Oh, we already went over 2,000 views in the first, 18 minutes. Appreciate you. Retro Schmetro, thank you for the 2. Can we get the victory shades for Davante? Ooh. We could if I knew where they were. I think I'd look pretty baller with the whole, patchwork cardigan or whatever the hell you want to call it. Abstract. Oh, man. I am going to look like a douchebag and I don't even care. I got a super chat asking me to wear the victory shades. It's a super chat. I'm a man of the people. There we go. Hell to the yeah. All right. There we go. Appreciate you, Retro. I totally forgot about these. I actually forgot about where I put them. I put them behind my computer monitor. Well, one of the 5 computer monitors I have. Anyway, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the 2. Quintana, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you. SoCal, thank you for the 2. Rams need to get Greenlaw in their set. I do want to have them bring back some of those guys, but I get what you're saying. Definitely. Craig, thank you for the 5. I wanted a younger guy, but this should work well while Staff is still playing. His presence elevates the receiver room. Tutu and JW have less pressure. Boom, there you go. Exactly. Less pressure. Now you don't need to throw a young Jordan Whittington into the fire. He gets a chance to be think about what this does development-wise for a Jordan Whittington, for a Puka Nacua, for a Tutu Atwell. Oh, no big deal. I've seen the preparation of Cooper Kupp and Davante Adams. See, there is this kind of I don't really, how do I want to word this? There's this assumption that Davante Adams is lazy. I've actually seen this quite a bit. Okay? And I want to just break the news here that he's not lazy. He actually has a crazy work ethic. And a friend of the channel, who I will probably get on at some point, I already had communication with. He's busy as hell, but I definitely will get him on again. Steve Weish. Steve Weish reported it. Like, he's got a crazy work ethic. So, I mean, this is a really good move. It hurts to lose Kupp, but look, I will say this. Davante Adams, as far as a blocker, from what I watched, I don't think he's the best blocker. He is not going to have you thinking he's Cooper Kupp or Jordan Whittington or Puka Nacua, but he's a willing blocker. He's capable. He's not going to do anything crazy, but basic blocking, he's a capable blocker. It's not like he's not going to put in the effort. Also, mind you, this is the first time he's signed to a deal since the Raiders deal, when he was traded away from Green Bay. So think about that. There's ownership here. He didn't sign with the Jets. He actually chose to be here. I'm telling you, this is gonna be fun. Chat, do you think Davante takes 15 as college number, or do you think Puka switches to 12? I see a lot of that. I don't see Puka giving up 17. I don't. Davante Adams, I could see him giving up 17, going to 15. I could absolutely see that. Would not be surprised in the slightest. All right, let's see here. Hank, thank you for the 5. Jake, Davante Adams makes this offense a powerhouse. Stafford, Kyron, Puka, Adams, Higbee, draft a young tight end. Jordan, Witt, Blake Corum, strong O-line. Fire, fire, fire. Hey, I love it. Absolutely love it, Hank. I agree with you. This is a great move. It really takes off all the pressure in the draft, and you can just draft whoever the hell you want. You know, we kept talking about, does this guy fit the X? Does this guy fit the Y? Does this guy fit the Z? And it's just like, who gives a rip? We just went out, this is how you do it. You go out, you get Davante Adams, you have Puka Nacua, you have Tutu Atwell, you have Jordan Whittington. I can just draft the best damn receiver, the guy that I like the most, X, Y, Z, be damned, right? And I don't mean to sound ignorant in that regard, but, when you look at X receivers, that's the alpha male receiver. That's a receiver that needs to get off the line of scrimmage on their own, not typically going to be freed up by, a lot of the motion that you're going to get with a Puka Nacua or a Tutu Atwell. So it's a big, role, and only a select few can really play that to a degree. So look, that's how I feel, So I like this a lot, because now if the Rams really like a certain receiver, they can just draft him, and they don't have to worry about, whether he fits the X. It's also better not to have a rookie X receiver and focus more on getting a veteran. And I know the Rams want to get younger at the position, and to be honest with you, they probably still do. But this made way too much sense. And when you started hearing, Aaron Rodgers might go to the Giants, Aaron Rodgers might go to the Vikings, I don't know, man. When Davante Adams said he wanted to go to the West Coast, I read into that, and I was like, okay, he wants to be a Ram. The Chargers are going to get DK Metcalf, and guess what? They didn't. He ended up going to the Steelers. So the Chargers might end up getting Cooper Kupp. That's the funny thing. But it really felt like the Rams or Chargers. I said it every single time. When the 49ers got brought up, I was like, why would he go to the 49ers? Would you rather have Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, or Brock Purdy throwing you the football? The answer is anyone other than Brock Purdy. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but come on now. Justin Herbert has an elite arm, and Matthew Stafford has an elite arm. Matthew Stafford's also won a Super Bowl. What is the reason to go to the 49ers while they eat all this dead money? They're not trying to win, but he goes to the Rams on a 2-year deal on a team that is absolutely trying to win. The Rams are trying to win a Super Bowl. This is the sign. They signed Davante Adams. They're saying, look, Matthew, 2 more years. Give us 2 more years at least with Davante Adams, with Puka Nacua. Maybe Tutu Atwell gets another deal. He only has a 1-year deal, but the point being here, it makes a lot of sense. Just go for it. Right? That's what it's all about. I love that they did it. And again, in the forced parity era, the salary cap era, hard cap, can't go over the salary cap. Only 4 years do you get when you draft somebody. You have to find ways to stay around. And the Rams are doing that. They're sticking around. Obviously, injuries are the biggest hurdle. But you go out, you get a guy like Davante Adams, and a big thing that was brought up by Steve Weiss is, look, Cooper Kupp, he's having a hard time staying healthy. Davante Adams, he's got, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're talking about 5 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards. And he missed, think about this, in 12 games, he only played 12 games in 2019 with the Packers because of an injury. He missed it by 3 yards. So consistently, I mean, you could argue this guy has had just about 7 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. Okay. The guys that we talk about like that, which fun fact, he's done that twice, 997 yards in 2 other seasons. But the only other guy that we're talking about consistently 1,000-yard seasons, we're talking about Mike Evans, who, guess what? The Rams tried to get last year. This has been the vision. This is why I knew this and was like, man, Davante Adams makes the most sense. And I'll tell you, 2-3 weeks ago, I was against this. But as I heard more and more about Aaron Rodgers, I started to really dive into the film. And I saw something. Davante Adams has not fallen off. He is still as crafty off the line of scrimmage as any receiver in the league. He can fight his way back to the football. He has amazing body control. He always knows where he is on the field, near the sideline. Like, when I started watching that film of Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, I was like, oh, bring him to LA. If we're going to lose Stafford, give me Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. But then I said something that was interesting. Before that, I was like, well, I think I only want Adams if Rodgers comes with him. And that to me was kind of ignorant because I had already watched the tape and I saw that Adams was great, but I chalked it up to him doing it with Aaron Rodgers and having a great communicate. Dude, this guy had 14 receiving touchdowns 2 years ago on the Raiders. Do you realize Davante Adams had 1,500 yards in 2022 for the Raiders? He had 1,100 the year after. He played 34 straight games for the Raiders. He had 22 touchdowns over that span. And then this past year, his down year, his falling off a cliff year that everyone likes to lie about, he played in 14 games. He had over 1,000 yards and he had 8 touchdowns. He's still elite. He is still an outstanding receiver. And as somebody brought it up in the comments section, this is in the McDaniels system. What is he going to do with Sean McVay and Stafford? And he generates double teams. But do you need him to? You got Puka Nacua on the other side. You can move around Tutu Atwell or Nacua. Who the hell is stopping this offense? And they're not done. They're going to add another tight end. And by the way Tyler Higbee was playing down the stretch, do they even need to? Maybe not. But I want them to. And by the way, reading the tea leaves, the Rams were interested in Mike Evans and tried to get him last year. They end up with Davante Adams? Huh. You know what else the Rams were also trying to do? Trying to get Brock Bowers. And the year prior, God, I keep saying this. I say this all the time. I apologize. Dalton Kincaid. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They're going to get another tight end. Is it Michael Mayer, which probably makes the most sense? Is it Evan Ingram? Is it a draft pick? I don't know. Do they trade for Mark? I could totally see them trade for Mark Andrews, by the way. I would not rule that out for a second. Because I'll tell you right now, the Ravens, they need to figure some things out. Because they got 2 tight ends that are going to have their contracts up the same year next year. Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Likely is the younger tight end that was likely drafted to take over for Mark Andrews. But Mark Andrews is the heart and soul fan favorite guy. So which one are they going to choose? That's what I'm talking about. It's not just them, though. Isaiah Likely could also be in the mix. Kyle Pitts could be available. David Njoku. Like, I mean, how the hell else are the Browns going to stay under the cap with this Myles Garrett trade or this Myles Garrett contract? You have free agency. You still have to find your quarterback. Do you realize their entire, and I'll tell you this right now, because this is how predictable the Browns are. The Browns are either trying to hold out hope that Kirk Cousins becomes available and can join Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, or they are just assuming that Cam Ward is going to fall to them at number 2, and they're going to pick him. But what if the Titans pick Cam Ward? I'm not saying they will, but what if the Titans pick Cam Ward? What the hell are the Browns going to do? What is their plan? See, that's the thing. I can't take the Browns seriously. It's just like they're killing the rest of the league with all these awful deals, and I don't even know what they're doing. And the thing that bothers me is I think Kevin Stefanski is a fantastic coach. 2 years ago, he got this team in the playoffs with Joe Flacco. So it's not me hating on Stefanski, but the ownership, I mean, Jimmy Haslam has no idea what he's doing. And I don't know what Andrew Berry's doing. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. But the reason I bring that up is because that could mean David Njoku's available for trade. I still say it last year. The Browns had no idea what they were doing at the deadline. They could have moved on from Denzel Ward. They could have traded Martin Emerson. They could have traded Greg Newsome. They could have traded away David Njoku. They would have gotten so much in return. But instead, they didn't do a damn thing. And this team ended up, what? Picking second? All right. So, yeah, I think Njoku could be available. He'd be a perfect fit. Again, this isn't instead of Tyler Higbee. This is complementing Tyler Higbee. Yeah, I mean, this could be the starter over Tyler Higbee, depending on who they go out and get. I think if you're looking at it, I mean, got to be honest with you, the best option is Michael Mayer. The second best option is Evan. Well, I would say they're about tied. Evan Ingram is 1 year removed from almost hitting 1,000 yards at tight end. You know? Like, that to me, him or Mayer's where I go. All right, let's get back to the super chats. Sorry, I got off topic here. Chris, thank you for the 20. You called it, Jake. Your number 1 free agent wide receiver. Excited? I'll see you on the lounge. Appreciate you, my guy. Looking forward to having you on as a guest on the lounge. Yes, that we're not on hiatus. It's just really hard to figure out everything. So if you are followers of the lounge, thank you. I appreciate you. To try to book all these people, I have people that drop out at the last second. You know, all sorts of stuff. So it is hard to kind of plan that while also planning, you know, the MLB season is coming up. Like I got I got Yankees Unloaded. I got Downtown Lakers. I got Downtown Rams. I got JE Live. I mean, a lot of different things going on. So it's not done. It's just a matter of trying to fit everything in. Plus, I'll be on Bleacher Report tomorrow from 7:30 to 9 Eastern time with Cameron Lynch breaking down the big free agent moves tomorrow. So a busy guy over here, but I appreciate you guys because I see the same people every single stream. It never fails, and I appreciate that. And the new people, welcome. Welcome into the bubble. Hope you guys are enjoying. Be sure to subscribe, by the way, if you are. Also, we have 1,100 viewers in here, 1,100 plus, but we only have 249 likes. So please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. The reason being, when you hit it, it lets YouTube know people like this and they're more likely to recommend it and spread it out. And this is how we grow tenfold. It's how our subscriber count goes up by 100 in one live stream. These are the live streams that make it count. So, you know, really appreciate that. What was I going to say? Oh, I just totally lost. Oh, there we go. Okay. Temple Hills Funk, thank you for the 5. Jake, dude, I love your podcast, but please stop the Trey Lance nonsense. I'm begging you. Temple, thank you for the 5. I'm going to keep up the Trey Lance nonsense. The reason being is because, look, Trey Lance, and I've said this multiple times, I don't think he's been in good situations. Don't look at what Brock Purdy did with the 49ers and trick yourself into thinking that is a good situation for a young quarterback. They gave up 3 first-round picks for this guy, and they made this guy feel like he wasn't even a 3rd overall pick. They tried everything they could to not let him be the starter. And he moves on to, checks notes, the Dallas Cowboys, who only started him because they didn't want to pay more money and give an incentive bonus to Cooper Rush. We don't talk about that enough. Is that not the cheapest organization ever? I've met Jerry Jones. I saw him twice. He's a good dude. He treated me well anyway, and we had a good conversation. But what? I still can't believe we don't talk about that nearly enough. Cooper Rush was going to hit an incentive bonus, which, by the way, the Rams have given guys incentive bonuses that they don't hit. But the Dallas Cowboys, no, they sit you so you can't get it in week 17 or week 18. That's absolutely asinine. But that's what happened. That's the only reason. Think about that. That is the only reason Trey Lance even played for the Dallas Cowboys. So now that he's available, if the Rams could somehow add him, and I'm saying he doesn't have a lot of experience starting, so I don't know if I'd want him to be the backup in what is a Super Bowl or bust season. But if you go out and say you get Zach Wilson and you can add Trey Lance with him, Trey Lance is not going to cost much at all. He hasn't really proven anything, and he's been around just complete slop as far as development goes. If you get Trey Lance in that building, you give him Sean McVay. I mean, you don't have to. Come on. You believe in Sean McVay, right? Well, why not give Trey Lance an opportunity to go to a great offensive mind and see if he could figure something out? Because if he can't, it is what it is. But there's virtually no risk with Trey Lance. What's the risk? Oh, no, $2 million down the drain. Really? He's not going to cost much more than that. Let's put it this way. Anthony Richardson was being shopped, and hardly anyone in the league cares. Now, my Madden brain, even though I don't play Madden anymore, but bear with me here, would absolutely trade for Anthony Richardson. Do you know why? Because I believe Sean McVay is good enough to get the most out of anybody. I believe John Wolford started games that he probably doesn't start on other teams. And he played decently well. And I think Sean McVay's preparation put him in position to succeed. That's how I feel. So if you put Trey Lance in a Sean McVay system, you give him a chance to develop, I think he could do something. Zach Wilson, I think he could do something. Mac Jones, absolutely. He's already been a Pro Bowler. Not that that really means anything, but you get my point. Daniel Jones would be fine with Sean McVay. Would he be amazing? And that's the thing. That's the thing. Having Matthew Stafford with Sean McVay is a maximized value because you have an elite talent that can make any throw on the field. It makes the margin for error a lot wider than some other quarterbacks. But Daniel Jones, you don't think he could win? You don't think that Sean McVay could win with Daniel Jones? You don't think he could win with Trey Lance developed? You don't think he could win with Zach Wilson? He absolutely could. He could win with Mac Jones. It's just you would prefer him to have Stafford. You would prefer him to have a Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence, guys that have elite traits. But that doesn't mean that other guys he couldn't win with. And by the way, Zach Wilson still has some crazy traits. I feel like a lot of people are really underestimating what this kid can do. And they're also underestimating, and this comes from somebody that covered this team for a year, they're underestimating who the Jets are. Geno Smith just got traded for by the Raiders to start instead of drafting a quarterback when they had the 6th overall draft pick. He was coveted. This is a guy that the Jets would have you believe was a total bust and was never going to work out. Sam Darnold. total bust, right? Took him a little bit, but now here he is, 28 years old, has a chance to make close to $40 million a year, maybe more. Who knows what we see this week? Those two guys were on the Jets. There's no reason why Zach Wilson can't leave the Jets, go under center with Sean McVay being his head coach and Matthew Stafford being his mentor. There's no reason why that guy can't have success in LA. And if God forbid he has to come into the game, he's throwing to Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, not Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. I wonder how many times I'm going to do that this year. Tutu Atwell, right? He's going to have Kyron Williams. He's going to have a offensive line, a legitimate offensive line, a good defense. This is what I mean, man. There's plenty there. Plenty. So that's why. Man, that was a long spiel. A Green Substance, I appreciate your membership for 39 months. An OG supporter of mine. Deontay Smith, thank you for the 5. Do you think the Rams' struggle stopping Saquon last year will force them to finally value the linebacker position? Deontay, absolutely. And I love this because this tees me up, because this is what I've been saying. If you want one reason, the Rams don't go after linebackers. The Rams also don't spend $23 million on outside of the organization wide receivers that aren't considered like elite blockers. But they did that. They normally don't sign. Do you think they signed Tutu Atwell to a 1-year, $10 million deal last year? No. They're changing things up, whether you're following along or not. They are absolutely changing things up. So I do believe they're going to change it up with the linebacker. There's only one linebacker that, really kind of stands out, is above and beyond the others, and that's Greenlaw. For better or for worse, whether you like him or not. Dre Greenlaw is a very good player. I don't always agree with the way he tackles. I think he's a little dirty, but look. He is, when he's healthy, is a top 10 linebacker in football. Fits the new age style of linebacker. And if you can get him on the cheap because he's injured, what if he stays healthy? You just got a top 10 linebacker you don't have to pay $15 million a year to. You're paying $7 million less. So Deontay, I absolutely think stopping Saquon last year is going to force them in the linebacker position. Absolutely. They already went and got, Bobby Wagner, who, by the way, Bobby Wagner was worth every single penny, and he's still getting paid the same amount of money he made with the Rams. I think he signed 1 year, $10 million. Yeah, he was worth every penny. I don't think they ever should have let him go, but they did. Anyway, absolutely agree with that. Linebacker is a necessity, and this is not a knock on Omar Speights, because I see people like, what, you don't believe in Speights? Not saying in the comment section here. I've just seen it throughout the week. And what I would say is, look, just because I want the Rams to add another explosive back, which I wanted last year, doesn't mean I say that Blake Corum can't end up being a player in this league. Like, that's the thing. Just because I wanted Davante Adams doesn't mean I don't believe Jordan Whittington can be a good player in this league. I want the best roster possible. That is my thing. Like, think about the 2021 Rams. Wide receivers. You drafted Tutu Atwell. You had already signed Deshaun Jackson. You did. You already signed Deshaun Jackson. You draft Tutu Atwell. You draft Ben Skoranek. You had Van Jefferson already. Robert Woods. Cooper Kupp. I mean, you had plenty of receivers. So why did they want to have the best roster? That's why. That's why they drafted more guys. Like, that's the reality. You're just trying to build your roster and get better and better and better. That is the name of the game. Let's see here. Matthew, thank you for the 10. Well, this shores up the wide receiver room. Need a solid run stopping linebacker and solid cornerback. And I'll tell you right now, you got Akello Witherspoon, Dre Greenlaw, bring back Bobby Brown and Michael Hoyt. And I mean, obviously I like other players, but you're pretty much done at that point. What do you need to do? Now you got the draft. You know, I would like Jair Alexander, but that is all like leaning on, do they bring back Darius Williams? We'll find out. We're going to learn a lot about the 2025 Rams this week. I can't wait for it. I am stoked for it. The only thing is, I hope to God they don't sign anybody between 7:30 and 9, because I got the 1.5 hour show over on Bleacher Report, which I'll be live for, but I won't be JE live. Like, I'll be on Bleacher Report. So hopefully the Rams get all their signings out of the way before then. And God forbid, if they sign somebody at like 7:20, I'm going to be pissed. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Again, it's supposed to be the legal tampering period tomorrow, but we all know there's going to be deals agreed to. We're going to find it out immediately. That is just the way it is. It's kind of silly, but no one is putting an end to it, right? No one is putting their foot down or anything like that. Anyway, Deb, thank you for the 20. Appreciate you. You called it, Jake. Do you think Davante is going to fit in the locker room okay? Absolutely. I think Davante has gotten some negative publicity, and he did play for the Jets, and I know it's not always perfect over there. I think Davante is going to fit in perfectly. I think this is going to be the happiest he's been since Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, playing in the playoffs, playing for something. The Raiders, I feel like that first year with Derek Carr, he felt good. Keep in mind, they traded away Derek Carr, and now he's playing with a rookie in Aiden O'Connell. He's playing with Gardner Minshew. Like, he's not, to be fair, I mean, he's played with Aaron Rodgers the majority of his career, but when Aaron Rodgers wasn't there, he still stepped up in a big way for Derek Carr or Aiden O'Connell or whoever, and now he gets Matthew Stafford. And to be honest with you, I love Aaron Rodgers. I've watched him for years, and I don't care what he says off the field. I like him on the field. That said, Matthew Stafford is the better quarterback. And you know what? He might have been all along. Matthew Stafford didn't have the offensive line Aaron Rodgers did. He didn't have the defense. He honestly didn't even have the coaching. Aaron Rodgers had a chance to sit behind Brett Favre. Matthew Stafford was thrown into the fire almost instantaneously in Detroit, and he had to play for a really bad team for years, for a decade, over a decade. So, look, I think Davante Adams is going to be feeling very good about it. I think he and McVay are going to get along great. The report, I forget who put it out there. McVay went really aggressive trying to get Davante Adams. Adams is currently in Japan, which I envy him because I someday absolutely want to travel to Japan. But he's currently in Japan. They did the deal over the phone and what have you. So pretty freaking crazy stuff. They got this thing done. And you know what? Some people are going to say this is an overpay, and by all means, it could be. But you know what? The Rams know if they're getting this deal done when he's in Japan on Sunday at not the 11th hour, but getting close to it, I think it's pretty well known this week is going to be hectic. There are going to be a lot of okay players getting good money, good players getting great money, great players getting elite money, and elite players getting money that we've never seen before. There's not many elite players in this class, if any, anymore. So I think the Rams just wanted to get it ahead of that. I think they really just wanted to get ahead of that. Yeah. So, that's that's that. But yeah, just pretty crazy stuff about the whole Japan thing and everything. There is definitely, let me just start off by saying this. If you thought for a second Sean McVay is getting close to being done coaching, dude, this guy, let's take it from this. Goes out and he has the meeting with Stafford, which pretty much keeps him in LA. And now here he is being aggressive. Jordan Rodriguez, pretty aggressive charge at Davante Adams over the last couple days, I am told. Like, this guy is, I mean, seriously, this guy is like He's like Jalen Ramsey, recruiting these guys. We just don't see it on Twitter. But McVay is just different, man. And again, it goes back to what I'm saying and what I have been saying about how McVay, this is the most important era, if there ever was one, to have a coach like McVay. Because it's not easy to build a team that's consistently winning. And it took everybody to get hurt for them to fall and have the season that they did in 2022, to be fair. Jordan Rodrigue, to me, it feels like McVay is going for the 2025 iteration of how the first part of the Super Bowl unfolded back before Beckham Jr. got hurt, but with a better run game and healthy Higbee. We will see. Gonna be interesting. Definitely gonna be interesting. In regards to that. So Adams deal is 2 years with $26 million guaranteed, $8 million base salary in year one, $16 million base salary in year two, base salary guaranteed in 2025. I believe that they're saying it's fully guaranteed, which makes sense. And he has a $6 million roster bonus guaranteed on the third day of the 2026 league year. He has a $12 million sign-in bonus and a $1 million available in incentives each year. So Sarah Barshop reported that. There's a lot to unpack there. I'm trying to figure that out in my head. So we got 2 years, $26 million, fully guaranteed. So it's 2 years, 46. So $8 million base salary in year one, $16 million in year two. And then he's got how much is his okay, $12 million signing bonus. So if I'm doing the math correctly, and I don't think I am, but I'm trying to figure this out here. So he's got a $12 million signing bonus, $1 million available incentives each year. So that's $2 million. So it's $14 million, we'll say, bonuses. But then he's got 8, so 22. And then, again, that would be, well, no, that's all together. So $16 million in year two. And so maybe they split the bonus and it's, we're going to $23 million in year two, and then the rest is in year one. I think they're split. I mean, I don't care. I think when it's all said and done, based on the way this looks, it's going to be $23 million cap hit. That's what I think. It'll be a $23 million cap hit. Like, yeah. I'll wait until over the cap won't have it this early. But I'll wait until over the cap because I don't want to give you guys any false information. Yeah, I'm trying to figure. It is what it is. The point is, it's going to probably be like $23 million against the cap, which, you know what, I'm okay with. And that roster bonus, third day of 2026. So they're going to know, is he worth keeping at the end of the season? Pretty much the full year is fully guaranteed, and it's basically a 1-year deal. But if you're really good, you come back to us the second year, and we run it back. That's what I'm seeing. And to me, that is a great, in my opinion, that is a great move to go out and get him, and you have that flexibility and what it looks like security for 2026 where he's not going to kill your cap. And you have a way out. That's what's important. You don't want to get stuck in these deals where you have no chance of getting out of them. Because any deal could fail. No one thought the Cooper Kupp deal was going to fail like this. Nobody. but it happens. Injuries happen. Paul the Seafood Chef, thank you for the 20. I'm walking around in San Francisco with my Rams gear on in celebration for Davante Adams. I love that. Thank you for the 20, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome. 49er fans are probably livid. But here's what I would say. Why would Adams go there? I mean this with all due respect. The 49ers told us the type of team they are this year. I mean, look at what they're doing. Have you really checked? Okay, let's bring up over the cap here. Like, the 49ers are eating so much damn money in 2025. They have $65.5 million in dead money. Why would Davante Adams be like, they're going to try and win a Super Bowl? No. And they're considering trading Brandon Ayuk. They're, I don't, who knows, man? I don't know. Wait, it's already in? I don't see the Adams one. Christopher Smith said it's in. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's, they don't have it in yet, maybe, just like the article. Okay, Jason OTC. So, where are you seeing that? Because I'm looking here and I'm not seeing the contract breakdown here. He's saying that, okay. So looking at this, 7 minutes ago. Dude, that is a... Wow. Okay, that is a really, really good deal. This is why Tony Pastors gets paid the big bucks. Okay, it is up, and I appreciate you bringing this up. So Davante Adams' deal is $8 million base salary, which we talked about, $18 million base salary in 2026. He has a prorated signing bonus, $6 million this year, $6 million next year. He has no roster bonus this year, obviously, but he has a roster bonus next year of $6 million. So he only has $8 million in guaranteed salary in 2025, and he has $6 million guaranteed. So he has $14 million in guaranteed salary, okay? But he has the roster bonus, so that makes it 20. And then he's got up to $32 million if you have the prorated signing bonus. So he only costs 5% against the cap this year. 5. He has a $14 million cap hit this year. He's got a $30 million cap hit next year. Now, understand this. This year, obviously, they just signed him. They're not going to cut him. But if they choose to cut him next year, they would save $18 million in cap and would only incur $12 million in dead money. So guess what? This is a freaking awesome deal. I love the way that this is structured. I think that, by the way, I was wrong, but I was right in a weird way. Because what I did say in my mock off season, when I had him at 2 years, $27 million with $13.6 million as the cap hit in both years, I said, $13.6 million as the cap hit in 2025. His cap hit's $14 million. So guess what? The Rams still have plenty to work with. Plenty of room to work with. How much? You're probably interested in that, right? And by the way, his valuation is 13.6 according to Over the Cap. So it's about the same, cap number, just about. But let's talk about it. They don't have it added onto the cap table yet. And I hope this comes up. I don't know if it is going to, but let's see if it does. Oh, perfect. So you guys can see. So here we are. You got the cap table. And I don't see, it doesn't look like Davante Adams has been listed yet, but now I know that it's 14 million. So I'm going to add Davante Adams. And we are going to, what the hell is this? Oh, that is the... Well, no, that's not right. This is his previous deal that got ripped up. Okay, so we're going to add his base salary, which is, okay. So that's 8 million. So we're going to add his base salary, and then we're going to go to another year, 18 million. And then we're going to have, what is it? Where is his signing bonus? 12 million? Okay. 12 million. See? It's locked in. Okay. And then you have the roster bonus, which is the non-prorated. And then you have the cap hit, which is 14. Guarantees, which is 8 and 6. Oop, not 80 million. Can you imagine? Well, I guess that's coming soon. Okay, so Adams is in there. Rams have 32 million in cap space. And this is, where is this? Is this factoring in? Is Atwell in there? I don't think Atwell's in there either. Okay, so let's add Atwell. So then Atwell is going to be 5 million base and 5 million signing bonus, which puts him at 10 million. I don't know the guarantee on that, so I'll just leave it at that. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't impact the cap number. So what you see here is that the Rams have $23 million. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The Rams can move some money around. Well, first off, the Stafford deal. We don't know what that's going to be. They're giving him more guaranteed money. That's what I know. I think it's almost fully guaranteed. But the cap number could go down. So if the cap number goes down, like let's say, I don't know, it goes down to 40, whatever. All right, let's see here. We'll do this. Okay. We'll just give him 40 million. We'll take away this bonus here because you can't, it's already a like you can't add on to that. So we'll just take that away. And that lowers some cap. Again, that isn't necessarily what the cap number could be. It could be lower, it could be higher, but it kind of gives you an idea it's going to free up some money. So it frees up some money. Adams is only 14 million against the cap. Atwell is 10 million against the cap. You got $27.5 million in cap space. Okay. And that might not seem like a lot, but then you got Cooper Kupp. And if you trade Cooper Kupp, now you're looking at 40 million. And you got Colby Parkinson. And if you trade Colby Parkinson here, which I think is possible, then you're looking at 45.7 million, right? So really, this puts you in position because it's important to realize during this time of year that just because a guy is, say, getting 3 years, 21 million, doesn't mean his cap hit is going to be 7 million. His cap hit can be modified, and they also can use void years. Now, the cool thing about this is that I don't believe, actually, I can tell you, there are no void years here. So the Rams are really doing this without hurting their cap moving forward. This is really well done by the Rams because, as you can see here, this is what the cap table looks like in 2028. Zero. Not a single dime is being spent right now in 2028. That is a huge deal. Okay? That's a big deal. It gives them a lot of flexibility. It keeps them in the green. Like, this is great. This is how you manage a book. Like, you got the void year here from Havenstein. So what? You got one void year in 2027. You got a void from Havenstein, a void from Higbee, and I believe that is it in 2026. But as you can see, I mean, this is pretty well managed. But yeah, I see people saying, well, a couple likely be released. So then this is what you're looking at. $35 million. Now, in effective cap space, that's about $32 million, give or take. You've already signed your offensive tackle. You've signed Tutu Atwell. You've signed Davante Adams. You brought back Stafford. There's not a ton else you have to do. Obviously, getting a linebacker would help. Now let's see. What does a Dre Greenlaw move look like? Well, let's talk about it here. Because if Greenlaw gets what has been reported he could get, a 3-year deal, and I don't know about all the bonuses and all this, so let's just put kind of a placeholder here so we have the cap number. So for now, let's just say 3 years, was it 25 million? I saw something on it. I actually quote tweeted it. 49er fan who knows his stuff. Okay. Coach Yak covers the 49ers. Dre Greenlaw is expected to get a similar contract that linebacker Derek Barnes got with the Lions, 3 years, $25.5 million per Albert Breer. So to me, if that's the case, folks, well, you could look at this, and again, it's $23.5 million or $25.5. Okay, so $25.5 million. So if we're doing the exact, we're doing it down to the wire here. So you got 25.5 divided by 3 gets you about 8.5 million. So if you have 8.5 million each year, that's what you get, right? But here's where it can change. See, the Rams don't even have to use void years. They can. I didn't use void years on any of my deals that I made in the mock free agency. But here's where this comes in. So right now, 8.5 million cap hit all the way around. What will happen, and what we're already seeing here, because the Rams aren't done, newsflash, if that doesn't tell you, Davante Adams is a $14 million cap hit. Stafford, they were trying to lower his number. Alaric Jackson is a $7 million cap hit. They are trying to keep money open. And I think it's because they still want to make some moves. Greenlaw, to me, makes the most sense. He is probably the most likely. So if that's the case here, you got 8.5 million. I don't think it would be 8.5 million on the cap, because that every deal that they've made so far, they have had this in mind, keeping the 2025 cap hit as low as possible. So when you have 25.5, you divide it by 3, that's what you get. But when you divide it by, say, 2, you're going to get $12.75. So what they could do is something like where they give him, say the cap hit ends up being like 3.5 or 4.5, and then it rises here and goes up to 10, or not 15, 10. Where, hello? I don't know what it's doing. All right. Goes up to, okay, this is annoying. There we go. Goes up to 10.5. And then now, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, this is now what, 15 million right there. And then the last one, because they don't always have to go up, it can go down, whatever. But then the last one, so you're at, 15 million. And his deal is 15.5. So then it would be, and now you can do guaranteed salary is all of this. So fully guaranteed in the first year, but you got to prove it to me because that injury scares me. So then it drops off here It'll be probably the same guaranteed, but we're not going to give you 10.5 million guaranteed and then no guaranteed money in 2027 and maybe incentive laden. And the point being here is now this is how you fit Dre Greenlaw in your cap and still have $31.5 million to spend. That's how it's done. So it's not, it's not always the most simple thing, but there you go. I just wanted to at least show you guys from the perspective of how this can work out. Try to explain it. Because again, some people just look at it and like, 3 years, 30 million. This guy's going to cost 10 million on the cap. Not necessarily. The Rams have a mission. Some teams will just eat it, right? They'll just be like, all right, that's fine. Some teams try to manipulate and be like, okay, well, this first year we want that cap hit to be lower. And that's the way it works. And by the way, you can do that when you give a signing bonus. Players are more likely to take that, and as long as they get that signing bonus. So that's that. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to have all the money in the world, but this is with a Kupp release, by the way. And this is without a Colby Parkinson trade. If Kupp is traded, well, now this can be up to 36, and if Parkinson is traded, you can get back up to over 40. So it is something to keep in mind. I think this is where we're going, though. 28-year-old Dre Greenlaw. I think he's going to be a Ram. He'll sign a 3-year deal. Maybe it's a little bit more than what we just listed, but I think that's kind of where we're going. I think that's where we're headed. Yeah, I don't think the Niners would love if the Rams stole Greenlaw, but tough nuggets, right? Anyway, Edwin, thank you for the 5. How do you think Rodgers is feeling right now? What specifically do you think Adams brings to the Rams that the organization thought Kupp couldn't? Health. I think that big playability, Adams has been doing it forever. I think Cooper Kupp was more of the inside the numbers guy where he could still work outside, but Adams has pretty much operated as an outside receiver. And I just think those are the things that they were looking for: availability and a true X receiver for Stafford, deep threat, all of that. So yeah, what Stafford? What does Stafford say? Yeah, I mean the guaranteed money. It was just kind of a placeholder. I get what you're saying. This is the number that makes the most sense. It means it's the most important. By the way, thank God they got this guy. When they signed Kevin Dotson, that was perfect. This 17 million, he would be probably getting 28 million in this market. It is going to go crazy for guards tomorrow and moving forward this week. And that is why the Bears traded for 2 guards, Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney. They knew what they were doing. They knew it was going to be chaotic, and they did not want to be a part of that. I don't blame them. Okay. SoCal, thank you for the 5 here. Jesse is live earlier, and they're in shambles right now. Poor Jesse. Ruiz, thank you for the 2. Would you trade a 4th for Pitts and draft Abuka /linebacker? The only problem is the Rams don't have a 4th round pick, so I wouldn't. Pitts does have a $10 million cap hit, so also that's the least likely for me. I think I'd rather have Mayer personally, but I'm all for getting a guy like Abuka or getting a linebacker. Maybe not drafting one in the 1st round, but I'm interested in them. Robert, thank you for the 5. Such a smaller move. Tight end, corner, linebacker, wide receiver in the 1st, less pressure to get that pass catcher. I love this move. Best available. Totally agree. You could argue Davante Adams was the best player remaining in free agency. That's kind of crazy, but it's not hard to believe when you really think about it. Gene, thank you for the 2. Tight end and offensive tackle in the draft early. LFG, stack squad. I like it. I think I'd be against an offensive tackle just because I don't know if I necessarily want to grab a guy that is not going to have any impact on the 2025 season, especially when you're playing for a Super Bowl. But maybe that makes the most sense, and maybe you find a really good deal, and it's hard to pass up on. Not really sure, but anyway. SoCal Ram 88, thank you for the 5. Zach Wilson could be the future. Jake has all the qualities, and they wouldn't have to use draft. Rams are golden. Exactly. If you can make Zach Wilson work, then you just skipped one of the hardest processes in football, drafting, finding your guy via the draft, developing, and turning him into a franchise quarterback. So, yeah. Deontay Smith, thank you for the 5. Or we wait until Joe Burrow asks to be traded in a few years. Well, that's certainly a possibility, especially after Jamar Chase likely gets $45 million from the way it looks. AB1, thank you for the 5. I still wish they would have gotten Danielle Hunter or Josh Jacobs. Yeah, it would have been cool. I still like the way things went down, but man, I really thought the Rams were going to get Hunter last year, and I was definitely wrong on that. What's his face? I really wanted Blake Cashman, and I wanted Andrew Van Ginkel, and the Vikings got them both. So that was annoying. DHP, thank you for the 5. Will the Rams debut new uniforms? Hopefully it'll be yellow ones from the 70s and the 90 when they played on Anaheim. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if they are. I mean, my guess would be black, but we'll see. I know the players want black, but I think we get a black uniform if they do have one, but we'll see if they announce. Yeah, we'll find out. Julio, it says your message was retracted, but I appreciate the 2 nonetheless, even if that means I don't get the 2. Regardless, appreciate you. Zaylor Swift, thank you for the 5. Adams has a skill set of Calvin Johnson. Stafford loves these type of wide receivers, an actual wide receiver 1. I said add Davante Adams time on one of your vids, and somebody said no. Haha, go Rams. That just made me laugh. I know the feeling, man. It's so funny to me. Because I remember saying, I had a video where I said, I think Akello is going to come back. They got to re-sign him. They got to bring back Akello Witherspoon. Trey White isn't working out like I expected. And this guy commented, I'll never forget, earlier in the year this past year, and he goes, Akello's trash. He'll never be signed by anybody again. He's probably going to retire. Get over it. And that same week, I was able to report that Akello Witherspoon was coming back to the Rams. Man, I felt on top of the world at that moment. But, I mean, at the same time, why do I care? Who is that dude? I don't know. And I looked, and of course, because I can see who subscribes and who doesn't. Of course, it was a guy that doesn't subscribe to the channel, so I was like, I don't even care. The Can. Interesting name. Appreciate you with the 10. The Rams are only asking for a 5th-round pick for Kupp now because there has been no interest. Kupp gets $7.5 million roster bonus in less than 3 days if he's not traded before March 12th. Yeah, and you know what? I'm okay with it. I don't really care about the compensation. I think I think the cap dollars mean more right now. Unless there's a way that you can integrate Cooper Kupp into the mix here, which I don't think there is, I would just, try and trade him. Whatever you can get. I'm not really trying to be picky. Can you take on some of this deal so I can do this? Yeah. Matthew, thank you for the 5. I see this deal with Adams no different than with Beckham. He'll fit fine. I'm sure Stafford is pleased. Excited to see what else they do. Yeah. In a lot of ways, it is similar to Odell Beckham Jr. I do agree with that. Personal 2010, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Man. Ooh. I got to say my voice now because it's... Yeah, that's... 14 million cap hit. That is wild. That is wild. I'm just tweeting it out right now. All right. Man, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, also known as the like button. It really does help me out. Oh, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. By the way, You guys have been incredible. Over 6,000 views on this one. We've had over 1,000 for the majority of it. So really appreciate you guys. I don't know if you can tell, I am somewhat losing my voice, so I'll probably have to get going here. And I did happen to see my buddy Gary just sent me a text, or at least he sent it a while ago, and I'm just now seeing it. Garrett Cole has been recommended to have Tommy John surgery, so they're waiting for a second opinion. Hearing that sucks a lot, but man, I'm really glad that the Rams got Davante Adams, because otherwise today would just blow. That is really annoying. Damn. Oh, I should probably change this. Yeah. Sorry about that. That screen is cool, but like I wasn't using it for a while, so I totally forgot. My bad on that. Totally had no idea that I left it up or whatever. Oh man. Trey Smith has signed the franchise tag, locking in $23.4 million over 1 year with the Chiefs. Oh my God. Can you imagine if Trey Smith hit free agency? The way these people are. Oh my God. The way these people are going to be spending money this week. Trey Smith might have made $33 million a year. Like, there would have been some dumb team that gave a guard like Baker Mayfield money. I don't know, man. I'm glad I'm glad that the Rams aren't doing that. I saw the Lakers in the comments section. Don't get me started, man. Garrett Cole, LeBron James, I'm glad we got some good news on the Rams. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm really liking the offseason. It's bittersweet. One thing I forgot to add, and I do want to add because you know what? I don't know him personally, but I was thinking about this. And I know I've been pretty against bringing back Demarcus Robinson, but I got to give him a lot of credit. This is a guy that wants to come back. It hurts to say that I don't want him back. It's not necessarily because of him. It's more so you're going to have to pay him. And I just think there's too many cooks in the kitchen at this point. I don't want to see Tutu lose his opportunities. But I appreciate Demarcus Robinson. This guy had a lot of touchdowns with the Rams. He stepped up in some big spots. I don't think he is a game changer. I don't think he's a creator. I think he did a lot with what was asked of him. But I appreciate D-Rob's contributions for the Rams. Who knows if they make the playoffs without him with that catch against the Seattle Seahawks. Like, he had 7 touchdowns this year. Like, I'm not trying to say that, Demarcus Robinson is a nobody. I hope he goes and he gets paid. Maybe he goes back to the Chiefs. Who knows? Anytime he goes somewhere, they go to the playoffs. But I feel bad, like the bittersweet part. And I was speaking with my father about this, and he mentioned it. It kind of sucks because typically you want to keep guys around that want to stick. You want guys to stay. And Demarcus Robinson wants to be a Ram. He said it. He wants to, be back. And it's kind of sad. But, I mean, this is also the league where you move on from a Super Bowl, MVP in Cooper Kupp and a guy that won the Triple Crown in 2021, and you move on from him in 2025 like it's nothing. It's a bummer. It is. But I just wanted to say that because I wanted to be fair. I don't care if he ever sees it or anything. I'm saying it because I just wanted to say it because, thought about that and I was like, yeah, that is kind of, it's bittersweet because obviously I'm glad Adams is here. I'm glad Tutu is back and all that, but it's kind of sad because he wanted to be a Ram, you wanted to stay, and those are the type of guys you want to root for. Those are the type of guys that are easy to root for because they want to stick around, they believe in it and all that. And so, yeah, it is a bummer. It is to a degree. But you know what? I really like the direction the Rams are going in. Currently, I think they got a really good roster. I mean, Cooper, why do I keep saying Cooper Kupp? Anyway, Matthew Stafford at quarterback, Kyron Williams at running back. You got Davante Adams. You got Puka Nacua. You got Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, Tyler Higbee, Davis Allen. You got a fully healthy offensive line. They're all returning. You got a defensive line. They bring back Bobby Brown, and guess what? You're returning the same defensive front. Of course, also Michael Hoyt you'd have to bring back as well. They got a really good linebacker in Omar Spates. They got some really good talent at corner. They got some really good talent at safety. They have everything taken care of in the special teams. We'll see how they shore up the other spots. But right now, here's the to-do list. Re-up Ahkello Witherspoon, Michael Hoyt, Bobby Brown, and then make sure that you go and get Dre Greenlaw and try and get Jair Alexander if he becomes available. That's what I would say. Jedrick Wills, too. I'd love him in the offensive line. And go out and get your backup quarterback. Is that going to be Jimmy Garoppolo? Is that going to be a Zach Wilson? That's what I want to see. So, absolutely, Deb. They got some depth on the offensive line as well. They are going to have to add, but the Rams are in a really good spot. If you're a Rams fan, that Eagles game felt so painful, and yet today you probably feel somewhat over it. You probably just feel ready for the season to start. Sadly, the season doesn't start until September, so we're not even close. But it's about to get hectic in the next 12 hours? In 12 hours? No, a little bit over 12 hours. I think it starts at 1. I would say it starts at 1. I'm going to look it up, though. That's my guess. Noon. Okay, so it starts at noon Eastern time, 12 p.m., and that is tomorrow. So 14 hours, give or take. But I agree, Ray. Getting over 900 viewers this late in the season, this late at night. I understand it's not super late for people on the West Coast, but that's some good stuff. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this JE Live. I think we're going to wrap it up soon. But again, I really appreciate you guys showing up and showing out, and all the comments and the support of the channel and the latest videos that I dropped and everything. I mean, really cool stuff. I apologize for the lack of mailbag. It's been really busy, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to postpone the mailbag. After this free agency stuff, we'll do mailbags again. But I think it's just best to just scrap it for now. I'm going to get back to it. It's not something that's gone forever, but I think it's best to just go back to doing the mailbag after, all of the hecticness. That's not a word, but after all the action, we get back to the mailbag. It'll be more fun. Yeah, that's right. That's stupid ass daylight savings time. I hate it. It should be 9. And by the way, I was watching Death Note. I was finishing up Death Note, and I looked at my at the time on my phone. And I was like, it's 4:24. Like, what? How did this happen? And it goes from 1:59 to 3, but I wasn't paying attention. And time flies when you're having fun. And man, I found the secret sauce as a content creator. I found the secret sauce. The secret sauce is this. Because you can do like what Joe Rogan does. He does 3 episodes and he batch records them in a 9-hour time frame. But you could do it like I do it. And I've changed it up. I used to batch record, but it starts to feel like you're doing more work than you are. It starts to feel a little bit overwhelming, and you can get burned out. Dude, I do a video. I do my research video. I shoot. Then I of course, edit. And then I drop the thing. And then I go and I take a break. 1-2 hours. I come back and I do the same thing. How else do you think I was able to pump out all those videos the other day? That's my new focus. That's my new routine, and it's working out for me. So if you guys are trying to do content, I'd recommend that. I know, taking breaks, such a state-of-the-art thing. Real groundbreaking stuff. Whoa, Jake takes breaks. Who knew? But yeah, it helped me out tremendously. And the reason why it's different than others is because it's like those cat naps that was Albert Einstein took, or Thomas Edison. I don't know who took the cat naps. But anyway, one of those geniuses took the cat naps where they would sleep for an hour, wake up, work, sleep for an hour, wake up, work, whatever. This to me is one of those, like, you know, you're trying to get shit done and you're on a roll, cool. But if you can go and you can give yourself some time and just recuperate and remind yourself that there's still fun things and not everything has to be monetized, there you go. But, man, this has been a fun stream. I feel like we're back. 6,500 views. We've been live for a little bit over an hour. And, you know, still over 800 people watching right now. And there's going to be more, because I would imagine, you know, obviously we're going to get more subscribers. People are going to rewatch this, but also there's going to be more content to make. There's going to be more stuff. There's going to be more news. So looking forward to it. Appreciate you guys. We're going to get back to gaming again, streaming that as well. You know, the lounge, like I mentioned, is going to start having guests again real soon. So I still got my side projects going on. If you are a Yankee fan by any stretch, Yankees Unloaded is going to kick off again on the 17th. We're going to get back to that regularly scheduled program. Downtown Rams is coming back soon, Alexis and I. And yeah, just a lot of different stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And appreciate you guys. This is awesome. I love the turnout. So in conclusion, Davante Adams is a Ram. He has a $14 million cap hit in 2025, which I love, a $30 million in 2026. Not a ton of guaranteed money, so an easy way to get out of that deal. And the Rams, I think, really nailed this thing. I could be wrong, might end up not working out, but this is a guy that you could argue he's only a few yards away from having 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's been a model of consistency. The tape still shows he's still one of the best receivers in football, and he's playing next to one of the best receivers in football in Puka Nacua. Matthew Stafford has 2 of the top 10 best wide receivers in the NFL. So if you don't feel good about that, I don't know what to tell you. But that's going to do it. So I appreciate you guys. Be sure to slam that thumbs up / like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Going to have plenty of content. You definitely don't want to miss out on it. And hit the bell icon while you're here. If you haven't already, hit the bell icon. I see people all the time. First, second, third. I see you guys in the comments section. Those are people that hit the bell icon. So they got notifications as soon as I dropped a video. So if you want to be one of those people, just hit that bell. But that's going to do it. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys soon. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan for additional content. And we'll be seeing a lot of each other the rest of the week.